welcome back. This is episode 8. We have...
It feels like we've been doing it for years.
Yeah. 8 years. We have another pussy in the house. It's joined us at the table.
Oh, are you insulting me off the bat?
Yeah.
Adam Friedland.
I'm here on Cool Girl Podcast. I'm excited. Thanks for having me, ladies. This is Adam Friedland, Dasha's boyfriend.
Don't get any ideas,
Her
guys.
boy toy.
Don't get it twisted, faggots. She's taken.
Don't blow up my spot, Adam.
Yeah.
A lot of
hopefully
really
no
cool
other gay guys will try to get her to be her boyfriend.
Yeah. Though I feel like after this episode, a lot of gay guys will be trying to get at Adam.
Maybe.
probably.
I mean, I
He's
do have the
adorable.
most vocal fry out of anyone on Cumtown, so I think I
And
fit
maybe
right
anyone
in.
on Red Scare.
The couple that
I don't know
has
about
vocal fry together stays together or
that.
something.
That's true.
So we brought Adam on to talk about
Vanderpump Rules.
the age of the twink.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about Vanderpump Rules because this changed my life? We don't have to. I'm not gonna...
You're not really caught up.
I know I'm not caught up, but it just makes me feel so alive when I watch it, and I can't get enough of it. But yeah, I'm not gonna... You guys run your podcast. I'm just here.
Vanderpump Rules is our favorite show right now. It's by far the most tightly
I feel like
edited
it's really
show.
hot right now in general.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about it.
Yeah, and our very own Dasha was quoted in a New Yorker article today right on the heels of Lala Kent, who's my favorite feminist.
Agreed.
Because Lala is kind of almost a proto-Venmo feminist in the sense that she has really made it acceptable. Like, she's really pushed back on this prevailing liberal narrative that it's not okay to accept gifts from men.
Wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
She's a remorseless whore, and I love her.
Yeah, and we
for
love it.
And she's the hottest one.
Yeah, she's the hottest one, and she's literally gone on record like, I work for my man's money. I give him the blowjobs, I give him the affection. Like, that's how you have to do it. Like, people think that it's an unequal trade-off where the woman is just like standing there being hot, but it's a lot of work.
It absolutely is.
Gotta earn your keep.
Right, Adam?
Yeah, totally. That's right. We're all whoring it up today.
Yeah. Well, who wears the turtleneck in the relationship?
Out of the two of us, what does
Yeah.
that mean? Like, who's not circumcised?
Yeah. Well, clearly, you are because
Yeah, I was circumcised twice, actually.
Yeah.
It was it was elective second circumcision. I was 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to have a second bris and just invite all my friends and family over and just, have bagels and lox, veggie platter.
You wanted the rabbi to suck your dick again.
Yeah, I needed to go back for a second time just to see if it felt
As good as you remembered.
Just so you know, that is a very rare practice.
The sucking of the...
Yeah, it's called Metsitsa Bepeh. But it does occur in some ultra-Orthodox communities, and there was actually a herpes outbreak. There's a mohel that had herpes in South Williamsburg a couple years ago,
Oh, I've heard about this.
and he was just slutting it up with all those little babies.
There's a whole clinic at NYU dedicated to researching this.
Metsitsa Bepeh?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was so prevalent. And is still
I
prevalent.
don't know how
He
prevalent it is.
single-handedly...
Well, no, the transmission of
transmission.
sexually transmitted
Well, okay, but you
diseases.
guys, I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and he was like, don't spin your wheels too much, like, pump the brakes, lady, because apparently a lot of these herpes outbreaks among children are due to the fact that
The kids are
most
sluts.
people, the kids are they're fucking and sucking in their cradles. They keep them in those weird caged-in balconies.
Oh, I love
That's
it.
all. Yeah, but apparently, most adults have HPV, and most adults have been exposed to the HS1 virus, which is different from HS2, which is the genital one. So if you have cold sores on your lip, you can literally transmit them to your kid or whatever, and there's no indication that it's like sexually transmitted. Yeah. So this might be vastly overblown, but I like the demonic narrative that Orthodox Jews are having gay sex and then sucking off kids and brisses.
They've really done it this time.
There's a good documentary about gay people in ultra-Orthodox communities called Trembling Before God. It's good if you guys want to check it out.
All right, maybe we'll watch it later.
All right, yeah, we'll watch it.
So do we want to interrogate Adam about his status as a twink, or about the state of Israel, or like
I don't
how
know.
can we waterboard you emotionally?
I don't know. First of all, twink, I'm not your guest because I do identify as a bull top. I've been in plenty of cuckolding scenarios where men in their 60s and mid 60s, probably wearing kind of pleated dockers, will sit on the side of a hotel room while I ravage their wives. I mean, this is obviously before I started dating Dasha.
Of course.
But they saw me sort of as a dominant bull, I think it's called in the cuck community. And whatever. I mean, that was a former life I found love.
You're
now.
very slim, and
I mean,
you
yeah.
have a hairless chest.
Yeah, it's true. So that's in now. That's what
I
that
would
New
say
York
you
Times
pretty
article
much
said?
fit the profile of
Of a
a
twink, yeah.
quintessential
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet twink type.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're
so
hot
that's
right now. Is
cool.
that exciting for you?
I mean, I don't know. I think I don't know. I really don't think I could. I've put this on record before, but I don't really think I could have sex in any other city other than New York City, because I think everyone's just a lot bigger everywhere else. I think I'm
Yeah.
normal size here.
Yeah, everybody
Lots of
else in
Jews.
like America is like Scandinavian or Bavarian, so they're like these large like quarterback men, like linebacker guys. This is true, yeah.
Yeah, and there are plenty of girls here that have been like, tricked by seeing Annie Hall enough times to think that like
Yeah.
having sex with a disgusting like Rumpelstiltskin-looking
Hunched
Jew.
over sickly Jew.
Yeah, I
That's
think
the dream.
they're like, oh my god, that movie's so romantic. I want to fuck someone with Tay-Sacks,
I mean, Adam, this is literally why people have sex with me.
Oh yeah.
Not
That
for-
is not true.
Listen, I'm not
Anna.
turning it down. I mean,
Yeah. Why
but
would you?
and if the nebbish is considered attractive, then fine. I'm not gonna say it's not, but it is not. I mean, it really, it's not. But
I
whatever.
disagree, but
I mean, you've got your tastes,
yeah.
and
I
good
almost
for that.
exclusively date Jews.
That's
I almost exclusively try to date Jews, and they're like, no, you look too much like my mother, get away.
yeah. I mean, I guess there's maybe I dated 2 Korean girls in a row, and the second
Red
one
flag.
I was on the right, and so then everyone was like
Not
saying,
a
"Oh,
good
you're one of
flag.
those Jews that like only dates Asian girls." I was like getting a hard time about that, and then I guess we were on the train together, and she saw a text from my friend that said, "Bring your new Korean or something to the bar or something," and she saw it. She obviously got really mad, and I was like, "You don't get it." I was like, "You don't get it." People think I'm like some sort of like, some sort of sexual deviant, that I only have sex with people from one peninsula in East Asia. But and then we were like having an argument on the L train, and then we got to her apartment, and she had a picture of Woody Allen and Larry David next to her bed.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like
It goes both ways.
Yeah, it does
That's
go both
dark.
ways. Yeah, it was super
Yeah.
dark. And then I was like, well, I'm the piece of meat, I guess.
Yeah. She like was desperately jealous of like Sunni Preven for.
That's goals for me and Dasha, at least.
Well,
For me to
Adam, I
adopt a
will
Korean
say
that
that
you can
That he
marry
can
later.
Yeah,
Right.
our goal is to adopt a Korean.
Couple goals, and then all like down spiral and a Mia Farrow
Mia
type
Farrow style.
psychosis.
Yeah. I can't wait.
She's so skinny in Rosemary's Baby. You really, that's thin spur right there.
Yeah. Well, Koreans actually have a lot of historic overlap with Russian people. So Dasha's basically
they?
Korean. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't.
We like share a border, right? And like we have Victor Tsoi, the pop
Absolutely.
Cobain of
I mean,
Russia.
I spent a lot of time as a karaoke escort in the Korean community,
Yeah.
and we certainly
They covet Russians.
they covet Russian. Well, they covet like white
They
women.
love the round eye.
Yeah. But there's a lot of like cultural overlap and similar value systems amongst Koreans and Russians.
Yeah, like boozing and smoking until you drop.
Yeah, sadistic drinking games, etc.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
Saying the N-word, that's another thing.
Who doesn't like to?
Koreans love to say it. That from my experience. I don't want to. You can edit that out if you want. I don't want to make that salacious.
It's just a word in their alphabet. You've talked about it before.
Oh no, in China. It's like a word, yeah.
Let's not. Wow, we just galaxy brain the racism out of the park. I think we have to keep it in.
Meg is a judicious editor.
Yeah. Well, okay. Anyway, so speaking of racism, today we are talking about our favorite apartheid state, Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Israel is like really like the Bill Cosby of countries. They really can't do anything right, and they're not guilty. They can't catch a break. The only thing that Israel is like good at right now is like throwing up like faceless luxury condos or being aggressive at bars or exporting nubile co-eds to hawk massages and scented candles at American mall kiosks.
Yeah, that's true. Those guys. Have you been to the Dead Sea Mall? Where are they coming from? It's disgusting.
They're actually like being unearthed from the Dead Sea.
I guess so, from the mud.
So yeah, there was like a recent kerfuffle. Kerfuffle is understating it. The Guardian reported that 58 protesters were dead and 1,200 were injured. And according to the New York Times, more than 2,700 Palestinian demonstrators were injured on last Monday. At least 1,350 by gunfire, and they were all protesting the opening or the move of the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Correct.
Adam is a twink.
I would say that
The twink
it
embassy.
wasn't a direct correlation. The protests had been going on for a while.
Okay.
And it happened to have, the optics, obviously, like on the split screen optics of like Jared and Ivanka like dancing at the embassy opening and then kids getting shot. But the protests had been going on for a while before.
I see.
Business as usual.
Yeah. So you're going to take the pro-Israel side. I'm going to take the anti-Zionist.
I do want to come out on record and say that I am a Zionist. I am a sexual Zionist. Only Jewish dick is allowed in this occupied territory. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's interesting you say that because a lot of sort of the Israel propaganda machine, from my experience growing up in Zionist youth groups and like knowing people that have done birthright and stuff, is like sort of selling sex tourism and selling like sort of like
they want
politics
like
connected to like your burgeoning sexuality. Like I was at summer camp like having my first kind of sexual experiences with girls, and they were also shoving this like pretty heavy like Zionist politics down our throats at the same time.
I mean, I think that's brilliant psychological warfare because there's nothing like crossing your wire, like sexual and political wires.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I got so I used to go to Zionist summer camp in upstate New York, even though I grew up in Vegas.
I'm so jealous.
And
me too, honestly.
Yeah, and then I don't think I was getting too much action in public high school, but at camp I was kind of a little bit of a pimp. And so then I got really into the politics because I kind of associated it with like getting like hand jobs and stuff on the sports field after Shabbat services. But yeah, no, I lived in Israel for a while, and I was on the I had a gap year in Israel between high school and college, and I sort of lost my Zionism there that year. It was immediately following, I moved there right after Ariel Sharon, who's also known as the butcher of Sabra and Shatila, disengaged from Gaza, which was like a big deal because there was like a few settlements that were liquidated. And pretty much since then to today, what you're seeing in Gaza is Gaza has been kind of like the world's largest open-air prison where it's hermetically sealed off from the rest of the world. There's a naval blockade in the Mediterranean. The Israeli military controls everything that goes in and out. Their buildings have been destroyed in various conflicts with Israel, and they refuse to send in like concrete and building materials because they say they could build bombs with them. And then, this is obviously, I don't know, culminating, but like fast forwarding to this week, like there was a tweet from the IDF that said, these are like the weapons that the Gazans are sending over to Israel, and one of them was kites that were on fire.
Yeah.
Which was just insane to me.
I mean, I think the general kind of PR strategy there seems to be to corner these people to a point where they retaliate, like to put them up in a corner and when they retaliate, like completely fight or flight response as animals, and then people are like, well, they're a bunch of animals. But if anybody in that position would probably act that way if they're like families and livelihoods.
Israel, much like American liberal feminists, are aggressors masquerading as victims now.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's 100% a victim complex tied into, the conflict with the Palestinians, and there's this argument that they have to recognize the state of Israel in order for peace to occur for the Palestinians, like the people that are living in these deplorable circumstances. Like in Gaza is such a small strip of land, and it's one of the most densely populated areas in the entire world, and they're expecting them to say, oh, we recognize Israel's right to exist.
I know, but this is a difficult question. It's a moral gray area, and it's one that like the liberal media, or like the leftist media at least, has like historically, understandably, like taken the side of the Palestinians. But what are you going to do, with all these Jews that feel like, I sympathize with kind of the basic Jewish perspective to the degree that, like, you kind of have a new view of perspective of life when your entire generations of your family have been annihilated, exterminated.
Well, that seems like sort of the divide between younger and older Jews. With younger Jews being progressively less and less like Zionists because they are further and further away from the Holocaust. But I mean, as someone who's looking to convert to Judaism, I met with
I don't know why, but
shut the fuck. Okay, fine, I won't. And this honestly makes me want to not convert to Judaism because
that makes sense to me.
And when I met with like a former rabbinical student who was sort of like giving me some insights into my conversion, and he was like, "There's this thing called honeymoon Israel." Where it's for like interfaith couples or like young Jewish couples to get basically another like birthright-esque like free trip to Israel.
I'm so jealous that
I don't want to go to Israel.
Yeah, I really don't.
And as someone who's converting to Judaism for like cultural, spiritual reasons, I don't have any connection to Israel, and I don't really get why anybody does.
I mean,
like, why does it have to be there?
Well, I mean, I think it's like historically their homeland, right?
Biblically, the fake-ass Bible?
Well, no, but that's not meaningless. This is like where this population of people, this is like where Abrahamic religion was born, Judaism, then Christianity, then Islam, in this like tiny little sliver of land. And the sad thing is that actually everybody has a claim to it. The thing is that they don't have an exclusive claim to it. But like, I have family in like Haifa, right? And like, I get why... where, I understand why they would want to stay there. Like, what are we going to do?
Israel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the fundamental issue, is that the Palestinians have a legitimate right of return, but their lands have been developed over their cities there. So, I mean, that's the question is how do you address a legitimate right of return, like in an equitable and fair way?
Yeah, how do you accommodate everyone? It's a really sad and unclear situation.
Well, I think the answer is reparations, personally.
What does that look like?
I mean, I think that Israel is like obviously like a byproduct of this concept of the nation state, which is like a kind of Enlightenment concept, and that's found its way to, like, nationalism has failed in so many arenas around the world, and so I think that, I mean, I would consider myself at this point an anti-Zionist. I don't think that like a continued apartheid, which only benefits your demographic control of your democracy, you could say, like, that's like a big argument my dad makes, is that there are Arab members of the Knesset, and there's there's an Arab person on the Supreme Court, so that the argument is that they allow Arabs that live in Israel proper, not in the occupied territories, to vote, although they're completely neglected by the government. But the answer is like, are you going to have a two-state solution with two small non-contiguous slivers of land that's like a Palestinian state, or are you going to think beyond like this concept of having a Jewish state and saying like, oh, maybe having a state tied to like one ethnic identity and having a democracy, those two concepts don't really jive.
Well, I think that in the long run, this is almost like a moot point, because like the kind of the neoliberal processes will make sure that there's no such thing as like nation statism down the line anyway. Everything will be like globalized. And,
sure.
Maybe it's a good thing that Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg will put their boots on all of our necks, because it will settle the Israel-Palestine issue once and for all. But there's like there's a lot of like surprising things about this latest episode, this latest like Israeli scandal. For one, on a lighter note, I was genuinely shocked to see how busted Benjamin Netanyahu's wife was.
Yeah, she's whack.
It's funny because Brad texted me about this. Brad is Meg's boyfriend, for those who don't know. Fellas, she's taken too. And he texted me like, oh, well,
What the fuck is he texting you for?
I was engorged, ... with rage. He was like, Bibi really brought his dog to the ceremony, and I was like, what is he talking about? I want to see the puppy.
Ew.
And then I realized that he was talking about his wife, and I was like completely shocked, because Israel, this is a country, whatever you say what you will about their politics, this is a country where every piece of trim walking the street is like a clone of Gal Gadot or Natalie Portman, and he like picked the one that looked like a fruit bat from a Disney franchise.
Horrible.
This woman is hideous.
He used to look good back in the day.
Well, that's the thing. I feel really dirty.
He was kind of a piece of ass.
Netanyahu is my absolute male ideal. He's so sexy, and every time I see
used
him,
to dream of doing some sexual tourism in Israel, but not anymore.
I mean, I will still do it. I like every time I see like that picture of young Netanyahu in the military fatigues, like my like pussy region starts to feel like the Gaza Strip. It's all these like conflicting violent energies.
Anna!
I'm just like, I can't believe I'm wet for the leader of the world's most powerful apartheid state.
Yeah, he's a fucking fascist. But
I mean, he's a fascist, but he was such a piece of ass in his day.
Yeah, he was. But
I'd rather fuck a fascist than a neolib.
He sort of posted off of his, like, initially his brother. His brother was like a war hero.
Right.
He was the hero of the raid on Entebbe. And then he died. And then, like, so Bibi sort of came about as, like, this... Yeah, she looks whack. Ooh. Well, anyway, he's under a lot of fire right now for corruption scandals that potentially will take down his administration. And his son is kind of like proving to be a political liability. Like he actually like disclosed details of like government corruption while he was drunk at a strip club in Tel Aviv with his friends. Like people like overheard him being like, "Oh, do you?"
Wow. I thought your blowjob story was the most humiliating Israeli strip club story to come out of that.
And then he's also like sort of a Pepe. He like shares like anti-George Soros like memes on his Facebook page and shit. And what are you looking at?
This book, Psycho BB.
Psycho BB. He shares anti-George Soros memes on his
like conspiratorial,
like sort of protocols, the elders of Zion adjacent, like Pepe kind of memes.
Well, the biggest revenge for being like a shitty tyrant is that your kids turn out to be like total retards.
Yeah, no, he's completely retarded.
But like I feel like another surprising thing is that like I've noticed that there's been kind of an almost complete about face in the liberal media with how it like addresses these kind of issues, like especially probably in light of recent events, and maybe this is like a self-selecting fact of the lefty circles I travel in, or maybe it's the result of like sheer algorithmic parsing, but I've noticed that like on the New York Times, on the Washington Post, the coverage of kind of Israel's murder of Palestinians has gotten it's taken a line from being like openly kind of pro-Israel to being tentatively anti-Israel, and I say like anti-Israel, not pro-Palestinian, deliberately. So like lately, I think that like what you see is like this new emphasis on like Netanyahu and the IDF as being like criminal enforcers of the Middle East region, as a function of the idea that Trump is like the uber villain in our times, like going political mythology, and like this to me seems also kind of disingenuous because there's no real political or human sympathy for the Palestinians. It's just, the liberal media wants to score points against our Fuhrer, so they will use the Israel angle and milk it for all it's worth, which is troublesome because
people still got mad at the New York Times this week because they said that 52 protesters died, and they didn't say that 52 protesters were killed in the headline. But I mean, I'll tell you, from coming from a Zionist youth thing, what we were just fed when we were kids was that the New York Times is incredibly anti-Israel, the media is incredibly anti-Israel. Don't even get us started on the BBC and the media in Europe, because they're so anti-Semitic and anti-Israel. The issue is that there's a conflation. I mean, especially amongst the Zionist community, there's this question. There's a firm stake in the ground that if you are anti-Israel, you are anti-Semitic, and there's no. So if I make a statement that I'm anti-Israel, then I'm technically a self-hating Jew.
Yeah.
And it's
Which you are.
Well, of course,
but not for that reason. But not for a myriad of other reasons. Yeah.
Not for Israel. Who gives a fuck about Israel? Yeah, but no, I mean it's just frustrating. But like Dasha said, it is a generational thing, and the people that were older and had connections to new Holocaust survivors and those kind of people have kind of this. While the American Jewish community is typically a liberal community that votes between 75 and 80% for Democratic presidential candidates.
Yeah.
There's always been this blind eye that comes to Israel.
Yeah.
And I think it has to do with proximity to the Holocaust. Whereas younger generations like myself, we didn't know survivors like that. So the fear aspect of the propaganda around the formation of the state of Israel, this is the only place where Jews can be safe, doesn't make as much sense.
I mean, it turns out that they can't really be safe.
Well, they can't be safe from those kites. From those burning kites.
No, and I mean, I feel like partly this has to do with the resurgence of leftism in America, which the liberal media can no longer ignore. So they have to kind of move left on certain issues, because I mean, the liberal media has kind of, they prefer to see themselves as the underdog when they're really now the mainstream. Right. And I think part of it really has to do with this rabid antagonism, all-consuming antagonism for Trump and what he represents, which is a classic defense mechanism that prevents them from looking at their own complicity in the matter. And I just think when it's the New York Times, the New York Times ran an article that was protesters killed and in fighting whatever in Israel, or but the Jews balk at the fact, or feel no emotion. It was some sort of headline to that effect, where there was Jews don't care.
Yeah.
And now they're polling. I mean, this is a very tough kind of crowd, because it's a lot of people in the media happen to be Jewish, so a lot of Jewish people now have to basically go on record.
Anti-Semitic.
But I feel liberals are basically chomping at the bit to discredit Trump, when they should just sit back and relax and let him do the work for them, because he'll they don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, this has happened to the Palestinians forever. I mean, it's happened even amongst neighboring Arab countries that were critical of Israel, but then still treated Palestinian refugees deplorably, like Jordan. And there was like a month where more people were killed in Jordan, more Palestinians were killed, refugees were killed in Jordan than during both intifadas. Like, I mean, they've been like, they're kind of like, they're kind of sort of used as like, oh, we support them, but then they're treated like absolute shit.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, the sad thing is that actually nobody really cares about the Palestinians.
No.
Nobody
They are the forgotten people.
Yeah, and they're just
the planet.
Well, they're just like, you know, a symbolic pawn, but actually nobody cares. And like the other thing, like the other, you know, fun fact is that for everybody piling onto Israel, virtually, I mean, not virtually no one, that's a misrepresentation, but people are not as instantly triggered or outraged by Saudi Arabia, and to me this is madness. I mean, or Yemen, but this to me is madness because the Israelis at the very least are oppressing a people that they perceive to be their enemy. The Saudis are like oppressing their own kind. They put women in cages. I mean, like, come on.
And then they're completely with the support of the United States, like creating the world's largest humanitarian crisis in Yemen that no one really fucking cares about at all.
And you know, it's like every couple of months there's like an article from some well-placed PR strategist or like a weapons manufacturing consultant who's like, you know, Palestine is on its 2,000-year reform plan to become like a modern democracy. And it's like, you know, this guy who's in power now, what's his name, Adam? Do you know this?
The boss?
No, the Saudi, the son of the ailing Saudi monarch.
Fucking
something.
It's a acronym.
Yeah.
Thomas Friedman wrote that article where he sucks his dick.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Meg, hit that Google search.
Sound smarter, Meg.
I mean, but you know, this guy, the Saudis are slaughtering people left and right. If they had their way, they'd put all of the Middle East into bondage.
Yeah, there is also sort of a soft alliance that's come about in the last couple of years between Saudi Arabia and Israel, which is like kind of...
Oh yeah, I'm sure. They have to like kind of, they're like two dogs at a dog park who sniff each other, like circle each other's asses and, you know, sniff and agree to not maul each other to death.
Yeah. So I guess, I don't know. There are enough people like dipshits in America that go on Birthright that have like a hot Israeli soldier on their bus and then decide that they're going to defend Israel for the rest of their lives here.
Well, one of the first things that the rabbinical student I met with asked me was, are you ready to die for the Jewish people?
I am.
Which gave me, I mean, that gave me some serious pause.
Well, you're ready to die, but not necessarily for the Jewish people.
Yeah, just in general.
No, but I mean, look, I feel very strongly about this, and this will probably get me drawn and quartered all over town, but, like, you know, I'm, like, Jewish on my mom's side, like, at least marginally, and I'm Armenian on my dad's side. This is a very heavy burden to carry. It sounds narcissistic, but when you have, like, two bloodlines that were both threatened with extermination, with liquidation, you start to take kind of, not nationalism, but ethnic affinity, you start to take it very seriously. Sure. And it's, you know, it's not to say that I'm like Israel's #1 fan, but like I sympathize with, as much as I sympathize with the Palestinians, and I really truly do, I also sympathize with the Israelis. I mean, not the government per se, but the people, for sure.
It's difficult for me too because
I don't sympathize with them.
The optics are so bad. Like,
well, no, the optics are horrible, and actually, real Israelis, like actual Israelis, are rude and insufferable.
Disgusting.
They're all like a Sacha Baron Cohen character, and you know they're all so hot, but they're so rude that it kind of negates their hotness. I will say their gay porn stars are top notch.
Incredible.
However, I mean, I sympathize, I guess, with all these people that fled the Soviet Union and now live in Israel, many of whom are not even Jewish.
Yeah, I know. There's also like a political party that was started by a Russian, the guy named Avigdor Lieberman.
He
started like a far-right political party in Israel.
He's actually my uncle.
Did he? Yeah.
He's my daddy.
He's my daddy. But But yeah, another fun fact though that is a little bit that is boundlessly entertaining for me is that Israel actually does not recognize the Armenian genocide, which Hitler very openly
That's
modeled
insane.
the Holocaust on the genocide. He was like, how can we exterminate as many people as possible in a mechanical and efficient way? And like, of course, this is preposterous because Jerusalem also has a very large Armenian population. It has a historic Armenian quarter, yeah. And, you know, Armenians are another Semitic race. And to me, it's like wild. It's wild that Israel does not recognize the Armenian genocide because they have a little bit of like, you know, they're doing like the finger up the butt, the anal foreplay with like Turkey and Azerbaijan, and they have to like keep up appearances.
Well, they hate Erdogan, but no, but they, I mean, even like more relevant to today, there are a bunch of African refugees who spilled over the border from Egypt, and Israel's like basically imprisoned them in you know, it's, you don't want to say a concentration camp because then, you know, people start yelling at you. Like, effectively like in
internment camp.
Yeah, internment. There we go. Yeah, and they're turning them away. I mean, the refugees from Eritrea and Darfur and stuff who are seeking asylum in Israel, like a country that's supposed to be founded in the wake of like a genocide. You know, these people being sort of, you know, systematically imprisoned and then kicked out.
Wait, are these like Jewish refugees?
No, just people from Africa that have like escaped through Egypt.
I see.
And then like go to Israel for, you know, to seek like political asylum. But they have like a huge like African migration from like people from like war-torn African countries.
I see.
And you know, it's sort of like kind of like you know, Mexico, people being like smuggled into the country, and yeah, obviously there's been no like, there has been like certain mayors have said we want to create asylum cities or whatever, but it's been similar to the United States where they're like, oh, we don't want these people in our country, we want to get them out of here.
Yeah, and I you know, that's a horrible thing to do to people who are fleeing, but on the other hand, I do also understand like there's this idea that like kind of nation states or ethnic affinities are bad in this day and age, and that may very well be the case, and perhaps we can never return to the old way of the world, like just as we can't return to like the old gender roles or whatever. But there's clearly like a tension where people have inevitably, like people are, I think that people are naturally inevitably tribal. And it makes sense. I mean,
I agree.
It makes logical sense why, you know, certain countries wouldn't want an influx of other people from another country coming into their country. But on the other hand, from a strictly humanitarian, from baseline human compassion, you have to let them in. I mean, you see this in like with the Scandinavian and countries and Germany and England to, you know, a lesser extent. They've let all these immigrants in, and now there's all this friction and tension like on the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems pretty hypocritical to me. I mean, obviously the Palestinian issue is the biggest hypocrisy.
Yeah.
But for a country to be founded like in the shadow of the Holocaust and then to completely ignore, you know, similar suffering.
Well, Jews are so cliquey.
Well, it's a bizarre.
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Well, it's a bizarre, irrational. It's like a bizarre, irrational reality. But the fact of the matter is that like tribal affinities are completely bizarre and irrational. And like, how do you, like, you know, there's two options: you either return to like that old tribal mode of being, or like you truly try to develop a society where
melting pot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just sort of the answer you have to get to at a certain point is like, does it work for you to say, I'm going to have a Jewish state and for it to also be a democracy? And by 2020, there will be more Palestinians between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean, which is like the West Bank, Israel, and Gaza. Yeah. And the demographics aren't in their favor, and that's why this like continued occupation has existed, because if they give them democratic rights, then they wouldn't have a Jewish state anymore.
Right, exactly.
So I mean, to me, maybe I'm an ideal, whatever, but like, what would make the most sense to me is saying like, okay, we all live here, this shit sucks, like, you know, you guys got kicked out of your home 60 years ago, but like everyone should be able to vote and have a say in their government. There should be very like maybe like I don't know, like Belgium has very different spheres of influence, like between French and Flemish like people. You could have like unity government, and you could have like very like different like sub what. Oh, am I speaking to? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that sounds to me sort of like probably the best idea, but I mean, then you'd be giving up on the whole concept of Zionism in a new state.
Which we should probably give up on.
Probably.
Yeah, and it's a terrifying proposal, I think, for like Israeli people, because then you have to contend with a totally different set of values. And you know, like as the great Zionist Marty Peretz said, and I think like, you know, he's been wrong about so many things, but one thing that he said that really always struck me as correct was that he said, my children's generation cares about diversity, but they don't believe in actual difference between people, and there's a lot of real, actual, serious difference between people.
Sure.
Yeah, so did we solve it?
I think we nailed
The
it.
Israel thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really at this point just don't care anymore.
I know,
Like, it's embarrassing at this point. It's just like your parents get like too emotional about it. You have to get in arguments with them at Passover and shit, where they're like, you know, they're basically saying like Nazi type shit to you about Palestinians, and then you have to be like, you're on the wrong side of history, and then everyone's crying. It's like, at a certain point, I kind of just want to be like, you know what, that's a different country.
Yeah,
I don't pay taxes there. I'm an American. You know, my country, I have enough fucking issues in this country. But you know, whatever. Jews are all histrionic and emotional.
Yeah, we're all neurotics and hypochondriacs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think you could make the argument. You could say that a country that was truly secure and powerful wouldn't feel the need to heavy-handedly oppress other people.
And to get so like upset every time someone's like Natalie Portman like snubs them. They really have no.
I'd be upset if Natalie Portman snubbed me.
Sure.
Hasn't Natalie Portman heard about the incredible gay nightlife scene in Tel Aviv? And they have the most vegetarian restaurants per capita in the entire world.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's why I'm going to Israel.
I don't know if you could be. I love like whenever they give you those like facts, those like, you know, sort of pro-Israel Hasbara facts. So it's like, oh, you like text messaging? Did you know that was developed in Israel? So if you're gonna BDS, you better stop texting.
Like pomegranate?
Yeah. Do you like
that's
drip
actually an
irrigation?
Armenian.
All the birthright Instagram ads I get every time I talk about
Your Judaism.
Judaism.
I saw a list that was like, if you support it was like how to avoid supporting Israel, and it was like don't eat Sabra hummus, SodaStream, etc., etc. And then one was like computer printing, like don't print.
Is Starbucks okay?
Because no, probably not.
Oh, they try to say you can't use computers because like the Pentium processor
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
was like developed in Israel. So if
Fuck
you're really
you,
if
Israel.
you're against Israel, I guess you can't use computers. Do you like instant messaging? Because that was developed in Israel. You know, yeah, whatever.
I would really love to go to Israel and never use a computer again. That's my dream.
Someone on Twitter, like a couple of years ago, found this Facebook page called Israel's Dank Meme Stash, and it's like all of these like lame ass like fucking Hillel girls at like different colleges using like AAVE and like, you know, like that black woman gif on the Wendy Williams show where she's clapping like and nodding, where they're like and they're like they basically like do it to like defend like Israel's brutality. It's like that feel when you're criticizing Israel but you know whatever it's
But you're using a computer to record your podcast.
it's a real nightmare of the internet. If you guys want to check that out sometime, it's really fucking terrifying.
Hold on, I have to refill our producer's wine glass.
With Rosé.
because she's really put off by my Zionism and can't no longer do her job.
The faster someone Venmos money to
Yeah.
get Anna on a jet to Israel out of here.
From my experience, I don't think Israeli women put out as much as Israeli men are like very like
They love to
lascivious
fuck.
and horny.
They're whores. They're all whores.
But, like Israeli women actually like kind of are like kind of prudes. They're
Yeah,
like,
but I will say Naomi Russell makes up for all of them, so
R.I.P.
whatever.